All right, guys. Well, here we are, episode 17. We got the boys from Vanish Brewing out in Virginia here today. We were just talking. This is our first Virginia brewery.
Yes, and we're so psyched for that.
Yeah. So anyways, we got a great show lined up for you today. As you can see, we got a whole pile of beers that we're going to knock out.
Our beer fort.
Yeah, our little beer fort. We hid Larry in over there. So anyways, we're going to give a quick shout out to our sponsor and then get into this.
Boneless wings are just 60 cents every Monday and Thursday, all day, only at your local B-Dubs in Rockville, Gaithersburg, Frederick, Columbia, and Urbana. Wings, beer, sports, you have to be here. Thanks,
Heck yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings, for making this possible.
We also do have a live show coming up there.
February 10th.
At the Frederick one, right?
Frederick location, right off of 26.
So that'll be the same time, probably. Maybe 6 or so.
Yeah, we backed it up last time. So
yeah, we might have it a little later so it's easier for everybody to get to. But we'll come up with an event this week, get it on Facebook, and hopefully see some of you guys out there. If you haven't been to a live show, it's fun. You get to sit there and take shots with us and get drunk, and we yell at you in that crowd and give away lots of stuff. We gave away a ton of stuff last time.
Yeah, we did. It was a lot.
It is. It's a super cool thing if you guys get time. But anyways, the real reason we're here.
What am I drinking?
Am I right?
Ghost Fleet. That's our signature IPA. Hope you're enjoying it. It's we want one that we came out with a couple months back, and it's been really well received for us.
So real quick for everybody watching, this is Larry. He is the head brewer at Vanish. Vanish Farm Brewery, Vanish Brewing, Vanish.
Vanish? Vanish Farmwoods Brewery, Vanish Brewery.
Yeah.
We answer by many names.
Yeah, so. I know. I've noticed that. It's awesome. I spend a lot of time there, and so I've gotten to know Tommy. Tommy's a good buddy. He's the head of everything, kind of, that happens in the brewery.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Marketing, sales. I try and help Larry out whenever he needs anything.
Lots of hats.
Nice. Yeah, lots of hats to fill. Well, that's pretty much every brewery. You got plenty of spots to be filled. And
Larry's been doing this for a long time.
A very long time.
I've known of at least 10, almost 11 years.
Yeah.
From coming from Denver to Maryland, and now you're in Virginia. I mean,
Absolutely.
You're still loving it.
Yeah, so let's talk. What about your start in Denver? And how did it lead you here?
I often tell this story, and it gets very long-winded, but I'll give you a very brief synopsis. But basically, in a nutshell, I was a home brewer in Charlotte, North Carolina. At the time, there were no breweries in North Carolina. I mean, there was very little to choose from. Well, okay, there were a couple, but it was very sparse there. I really wanted to get in the brewing industry. I took an opportunity to go out to Colorado. After a while of cutting seafood to get my hands, stay busy, and wound up being able to work with first the brewery in Colorado Springs, and then moved up to Flying Dog in the old Denver location. So then, of course, when Flying Dog moved full operations to Frederick, boom, here I was in 2008, which, of course, you and I met some time before that, coming out and visiting out there, and, so had the great opportunity to work with the both of you over the years.
Yeah, heck yeah.
It's been awesome. And so now you're running your own place. It's like living the dream. You paid your dues. It's awesome. It's been a lot of work in the industry, but every bit of it has been fantastic. I wouldn't be anywhere if it weren't for good people along the ways, teaching me and helping me hone my skills, and try to pass that along as well. Very cool. So, any new projects in the works over there besides the Ghost Fleet? I know this is a little different than last time. So when I came to Vanish, it was just called Vermont IPA, and Larry was in the brew house brewing. I don't even know you were brewing that day, but he had no idea I was even at the brewery, and I was just screaming from the other side of the gate that I really liked the Vermont IPA, and he turned around like there was going to be some crazy woman standing there. Brewery.
Just me. What's up, guys?
I'm used to the crazy ranting from time to time.
Yeah.
But no, it's
That
very
open
very
space.
welcome surprise
But
to see
it's
you.
even more delicious than I remember.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Nice. It's been a little bit of a work in progress, but we're very happy with it. It's kind of a hodgepodge of styles, so to speak. Some might say, oh, it's the Northeast style. None of our beer is filtered. That does borrow somewhat from the Northeast style, but we're also we've taken some things we like. We've taken some new techniques. And a boatload of really fresh hops, and boom!
It's such a farm thing too.
Without getting too technical.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think the cool thing about you guys too. I don't know how many of our listeners have been to Vanish, but if you go there, especially like on a Saturday, a Sunday, the place is packed, and we're not talking like 25 people. We're talking like 100. Plus, maybe. I know how many seats are in there, and it's packed. We have our processing facility there, so I'm down there quite a bit and get to see it. But I'm sure that helps you a lot as a brewer, being able to just geez, you got 200 tasters a day, so you're going to hear, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to tweak those things rather than someone that maybe only has access to 15 customers a day or something like that.
Absolutely.
You can see how well-rounded your beers are that.
Absolutely. I spent a number of years at Barley and Hops as well before going on to Vanish. And anytime that you have an opportunity to serve right in front of people like that, where you have your market is coming to visit you, and you get to share a beer with them at the end of the day, you sit down, you talk to them, you find out what they like. And that's kind of what our MO there is a really inviting atmosphere with really good beer.
Right.
Lots of other side projects and interests that we have, but if you boil it down, it is essentially good atmosphere, good beer.
Yeah.
Be welcoming.
And beer across the board. We don't specialize anything. Larry's the king of doing everything well across across the board.
I've done it all. I can do it all perfect.
How many on tap? Oh, sorry.
I'm saying, do you like when those customers know just very little about beer and can give you raw advice or raw just feedback, or do you like when your customers know a lot about beer and start getting wait, because it's just
that's the conundrum right there. You're
because and you have to hear I don't even think you could get away from hearing it. So I wonder if it sometimes is okay, yeah, I don't know if you know what you're talking about. It's supposed to taste like that.
I think after years of just kind of being around a direct service environment like that, you just essentially learn how to communicate to people on a variety of different levels. And don't take yourself or your craft or anything too seriously. Take the craft, take the artisan approach or the building of the product seriously.
Right.
But the service needs to be lighthearted. The service needs to be very open and a dialogue back and forth.
Right.
Not a
Everyone's
lesson. I'm not there to
everything.
preach on the pulpit.
Yeah, exactly.
So
very cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, we also have a beer that you and I have something in common about that I definitely wanted to touch on before we get too far in the show. But I wanted to touch on a beer that you guys did with another home brewer, because he just wrote into us right here.
Oh, hi, Bill.
Bill is watching, and Bill and Jason Thomas are watching. And so what... I guess the premise for this beer was we had a sort of a brewing competition last year at our Beyond Brewing Forum that we held out at Vanish. And Bill won with an amazing chocolate stout.
Yep. The turkey shoot was the name of the beer, and the competition was the Brew Brawl Ale Altercation. It's a fantastic name.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Ale
Just a fucking knockdown.
So I'm hoping next year, whoever wins this again would have one called Suplex.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Pile driver.
Hell yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you guys did with his beer. He got to come out and do a full run. You guys did him in. How many batches did you guys do of his?
This was just a single batch. So we brew on a 10-barrel JV Northwest system, and we, to be able to get the gravity, the amount of sugar content that this beer starts out with, was just a whole lot of really complicated complicated steps of trying to figure out how can we get that much extract to use. So basically, in a nutshell, it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bill. If he's texting in there,
he's watching. He's listening closely.
This has got to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 19 to 20 hour day. I mean, it took that long to do the multiple mashes, the boils, to get everything down. To where when we knocked it out, it came out at a 12.8% beer.
Big one.
In the end, but we were thrilled with the way it came out, and we did decide to use instead of the original Wild Turkey barrels, we went with Sagamore rye whiskey to kind of keep the Maryland spirit going on there.
Sagamore, for people that don't know, is a distillery in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Owned by Kevin Plank.
Yep.
Under Armour.
The guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
the
crazy.
Plank.
So they've got a good bit of money behind them, and I think this brand's probably going places for sure. That's awesome that you got a chance
they're very,
to use.
very good, tasty whiskey. Yeah. Very good.
I don't know much about whiskey. I'm not a big whiskey fan, so it's just tasting it. I couldn't.
That's
tell
where
you,
me and her have this really massive.
Whatever.
Well, the barrels are delicious. I'm not a big whiskey person.
Okay, so
they make some damn good beer.
Well, where do you want to? Should you want to taste that one, or should we?
Let's taste it while we talked about it. Unless you think it's going to be a palate record.
It is a big one. I was going to save that one for the end. But
well, then let's save it here.
Save it for our last.
Bill will be here.
Save it for our last cheers.
Bill, stay online.
Yeah,
stay online.
I'm just going to drag you through this whole episode, Bill. But let's think here. So what else? What else you guys got going on? Any collabs coming up? Anything fun kind of in the future that you're looking forward to, or collabs in the past you've done? I know the last time, this might have been 2 months ago. I stopped in and you had a buddy on the Appalachian Trail that was walking.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty rad. It's pretty rad to be yeah, man, my guy's just walking the Appalachian Trail. He's going to swing by, brew a beer, and then keep fucking walking. And I was that's... for a brewer to be able to have that, resource, that's pretty fucking rad.
Yeah.
I was all right, not a lot of people can say that.
Well, it doesn't hurt that the guy happens to be a hop expert. So, Philip Davidson, a good buddy of mine, oddly enough, whom I met while working for Flying Dog many years ago, at Pennsylvania Brewers Festival in Harrisonburg, Harrisburg, PA. And anyways, we developed a friendship through the Master Brewers Association, and he was, for several years, a Hopsteiner sales rep. So basically, he had taken the summer off, and he and his girlfriend were hiking the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine. Wow. And when they got to the 1,000-mile mark, which is just outside of Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, I drove up, picked them up on the trail, drove them back down. We happened to have a guest area to stay at the farm, and so they were my guests for a couple of days. I said, let's make this happen. We kind of joked around about it via Facebook, but we're making this happen. So I want you to... I'll brew the base beer. You go into my hop cooler, look around, tell me what you want to see in it, and design the hop profile on it. So we did an oatmeal pale ale that we named 1,000 Mile Ale.
Nice.
In honor of hitting the Appalachian Trail.
So if you're listening to this, brewers, you can hike the trail and get a free ride, and then stay a free night.
So how often did they smell after 1,000 miles in the trail?
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that's true.
In that car.
Well,
Are you sure you want to offer this to others?
yeah, well, just in case he's listening, I'm not going to say.
They knew. It's fine.
They had broken up their trip before. Honestly, they actually wound up going to Savor.
I thought you were going to say they broke up on their trip, and I was like,
oh, that's a really awkward.
Like, what do you do? Like, try to walk faster than the other one to like get to the end?
No, they had broken up the trip and actually took a ride. If I'm not mistaken, Jason Oliver of Devil's Backbone gave them a ride back to the trail back down in Virginia before they walked up to us. So.
Yeah, so it's super rad, man. And those are the kind of things that we like to bring up on here and showcase. Is just like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's very cool.
What else? Like, what other industry can you just like walk around and be like, hey, man, I'll just swing in and
brew a beer today.
We'll just brew a beer today.
Yeah.
Piss on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a break to thank our sponsors. Join Buffalo Wild Wings for Kids Day every Wednesday. Cartoons on the big screen, coloring contests, tablets, and kids' meals just $1.49 all day, dine-in only. Only at your local B-Dubs in Rockville, Gaithersburg, Frederick, Columbia, and Urbana. Wings, beer, sports, you have to be here.
Yeah.
So you were talking earlier, Tommy, about an event for February. The culmination event, if you will.
Yeah,
the brewery.
February.
We gotta be very specific when you're saying that. Yeah, DC 101's putting on Feb Brewery, and it's sponsored by the Loco Ale Trail. I don't know how familiar people are with that, but it's kind of our group of breweries in Loudoun County that gets a ton of support from Visit Loudoun.
Yeah,
they've kind of put
so like
nice
Kelly Bowles and all that gang. They're probably somehow
Jackie Saunders. They all help us out a ton.
All affiliated down there. Heck yeah.
They do a great job, and so they really stepped in to help sponsor with DC 101 this year, the February, and as you all know, the kickoff thing is going to be with Flying Dog. Roach did a collab with you guys to do a fun little thing. They're going to be live on site.
Yep.
But at the end of February, on February 25th, we're going to do a finale event, which is going to be at Vanish. And we had 16 of the Loco breweries all come together at Beltway. Larry was there. We did a collab brew, which is a milk stout, and then everyone got a little bit to take home, and we're all changing it up, putting our own variant on it.
That's so cool.
We're going to do a private ticketed event at the brewery, in our event space. And it's going to be 2 different sessions. Roach is going to come out for it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to get to come out and try all the different variations.
Now, do any of you brewers, Larry, know what the other one's doing? Did you guys talk about it at all?
There is a spreadsheet going around, kind of a shared document where everybody's like putting down what they're doing. I think we're kind of keeping our secret.
Well, we have to announce it by Monday.
Oh, okay. There's an announcement Monday.
Well, yeah, we have to get all the material together so we can push it out for everyone, and DC 101 needs to know. But we're very open about it because the big fear is everyone going to put out 15 different coffee stouts?
That's what I was actually wondering. How many repeats are we going to see?
But then people started putting out what they're going to do, and no one touched coffee for a while because I think everyone was afraid.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. Fuck that. I hear you. Well, cool. That sounds like an awesome event to really help promote. And I mean, I actually shared an article this week about you guys meeting up, and I forget who wrote the article, but it was just a bunch of the Loudoun County brewers meeting up and talking about things. And I think that is, if you guys, a lot of you guys listening to this probably have no clue about how much Loudoun County does, like for breweries and brewers. But if I could pick one county to open up a brewery in, it would be Loudoun. And that is not like, they didn't pay me to say that. It's not because my hop processing plant is there or anything like that. It's simply because... Here we go. It's simply because I've seen it firsthand. I mean, they fucking come out in swarms. You'll see congressmen, Senate people at small brewery openings. It's just so cool to see that really push behind. So I think you guys are in an awesome spot to really make some cool things happen.
It's definitely a unique and good business environment. Yeah,
and our community is great. I think what you're talking about is the Loudoun County Brewers Association.
Yeah.
We got a whole charter drafted up, and we just voted on it on Monday to push it through. We voted on the executive committee, so we're going to file that and officially organize. And
that's so
awesome.
Cool.
That's
because
really
greatest group.
Northern Virginia, it's like winery, and they have the they get away with murder with laws, really. I mean, which is great. I mean, it's good business. People love wine. It's just so great to see that brewing is getting to that level. It's just amazing.
I mean, but I think we see strengthening of the brewing community in all over the place. I mean, even on this side of the river, you know, I hate to think that, you know, a river divides us, so to speak, but but you know, on we have roughly 20 breweries in Loudoun County right now that have joined the Loco guild there, and to have, even just think about it, to have a county guild means that you have enough people that have these businesses and want to do this as a livelihood, to put it all on the line like that, and then to build a community and share with one another. I remember when, you know, the entire state of Maryland had fewer than that. Oh, yeah. But being involved in Maryland for many years with BAM and the statewide guild on this side of the river, we've seen a huge influx of new folks coming in that are willing to not only handle their own businesses, but willing to dedicate their time and volunteer for the greater good to help make sure that you know, that the ball is constantly moving forwards to help the whole movement come along.
And it's great because we're not just limited to Loudoun. Like, we get along with everyone in Maryland so well, especially with Larry's background. But like, what, you live in Frederick County, I live in Frederick County, our owner lives in Frederick County, director of operations in Frederick County,
you live downtown, right?
General manager is in Frederick County.
Right?
Like, we're pretty Maryland based.
Gambrel now.
Cool.
I was in downtown for many years.
You still smoking stuff on your green egg?
Oh wow! Talking about communities, huh? So I don't even know if I want to get into this whole story, but basically years ago, I had this huge support of people on Facebook voting for my Ragtag Bad Grill, sponsored by Draft Magazine. And so basically I had a huge groundswell grassroots support group of people to help me win this photo contest, and I won a really nice big green egg. And it's one of my favorite. I don't know why,
like, that just popped into my head when you were talking. Like, I was like, Larry, green egg. I wonder if he's still making stuff on that.
It just must mean that there's enough people out there that, you know,
really
like what I'm doing, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So I'm out of beer. So let's.
I've got the dregs here. So
we got to bunch here. So let's.
All right. Well, do you want to start light or just go into the Imperial?
Whatever. Yeah.
The Imperial. We've talked about the processing.
All right. Well, let's move here.
Sweet.
Do you have other cups?
Yeah.
We got. There's tasting cups right under here.
Yeah, we got tasting cups here.
As Larry chugs his.
Yeah, come on. I was going to use it.
Like, well, I just don't want to dirty another. Same way I am. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Excited to taste these. Never tried them.
All right.
So where did Ghost Fleet come from?
You want to touch on that one?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Name?
So Ghost Fleet is an actual thing down in Mallows Bay, which is a little inlet off the Potomac, kind of just south of National Harbor, where the new MGM casino is. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of old ships that got scuttled, purposefully sunk, and they still kind of chill on the top of the water, and you can go and like walk on top of these like busted up ships.
How do I not know about that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I've never even heard of this.
I want to go there.
But yeah, we try to make names like have something to do with at least like the general locality. And so that was a great one for it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And so Ghost Fleet is, like we touched on earlier, is our flagship IPA. This is the Imperial Ghost Fleet. Basically, this is kind of a rotating series of beers, this being the first of the series. And so basically we just decided to make a double IPA version of our Ghost Fleet. Basically this one, what makes this one really kind of interesting, besides it just tastes good, is that we actually use the hop hash, or the pure lupulin glands of the hammer mill from your processing facility.
Yeah, so for layman's terms out there, basically when we are making hop pellets, which we have whole cone hops, and we break them down into pellets, simply the majority of the reason for that is just for space, storage, size, and things like that. But whenever we pelletize them, there are these giant screens on the bottom. And throughout the year, obviously, there's a lot of shake that goes down through. And at the end of the year, you can scrape these. And, I mean, it is just inches of just thick, solid lupulin. I mean, it's just the most dank smelling.
Yeah, well, what did you call it? What did you when you were telling me about it earlier?
It's poor man's hash.
Yeah, and then
so what?
So I said, "Have you ever smoked?"
Yes, I haven't smoked it.
The guy shows up. He walks into the brewery. He's like, "Do you know what this is?" Here's just like this bag, this brick of green goop
I
in a
can see now.
plastic
so
baggie.
Like,
I was so pumped.
Do you know what this is? We're gonna do something with this.
So
like, yes.
It did look so bad. It was just a Ziploc
Yeah.
baggie.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like,
Well, I had another little one
Larry's
for a
like,
home
no,
brewer buddy
Solomon,
of mine.
I don't want to buy that.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man, $20. For another home brewer buddy of mine, and I had it like in the console of my truck, and I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, my truck like completely reeks. Like I have 5 open IPAs in here, and I have this like random bag. Like it's gonna take like them like a month to get it back from testing to be like, yeah, that's hop hash. Anyways, back in the day, it was poor man's hash. So they could smoke it just like you would smoke regular hash and get some kind of high. I've never smoked it. I've been like fortunate enough to be able to afford real weed. So I've just done that.
I was just wondering.
But
because I haven't. I was just wondering
we'll
what it
smoke
was like.
some later. For sure.
Okay. Larry,
But it is super cool to use it. So how do you use it in the brew? Because
well, you know,
we're talking about something that's very like clumpy, sticky. Like it's not like
sticky icky.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's not like you can. We had no real like statistical data to formulate recipes off of this or anything.
Yeah, and it's not like it wasn't like one variety. It's not like no. It's just this is like
we
year.
knew it was primarily Cascades, right? You know, maybe some Chinook and maybe some nuggets.
Yeah,
but you know, basically, I just stuck in my fingernail and tasted it like that, and
man, that smells really good.
No. We essentially just kind of said we don't really have any statistical data on it. We're just going to kind of wing it, and we used it as a first wort,
nice,
which is one of my favorite hopping techniques. So
explain that because we like to go into layman's terms for everybody.
Sure. Basically, first wort essentially just means it's kind of like slow and low extraction of hop character. Okay, so basically, as you're collecting the young beer or the wort from your mash tun to your kettle, we put hops in early and just let it steep in there during the duration. So it's several hours at a lower temperature. So it's kind of like think about smoking meat or braising meat where you're cooking slow and low.
On your
low rider, slow and slow, and so that's basically the way we used it. And then, of course, we use a boatload of really fresh hops at the end. This one is really this is Eureka forward as far as the character, and we used a lot of Eurekas, Amarillos, Simcoes. Stuff like that.
And too, it is not like a palate wrecker IPA either. Like I know there's so many people like sometimes explaining these beers. People are like, man, that thing's got to just like destroy you. And you're like, no, man. Like it's actually like a very smooth imperial. Like it goes down good. It's very hop forward, but not something that just completely demos you. Yeah, the haze is super
It's probably
good.
Twice as hazy as
Speaking of like New England style stuff, there's a funny little tidbit of news. There's a couple craft. There's a couple craft. I got to go into this just for 2 seconds. There's a couple craft beer stores in Atlanta that are refusing to sell any New England style IPAs or New England based brewery products until the end of the Super Bowl. If I lived down there, I'd be so pissed.
Yeah.
I'd be so pissed. Like, what does the Super Bowl have to do with craft brewing?
Yeah.
I do not go to the brewery to watch football.
Patriots.
I mean, I guess you can, but...
Well, many of those places don't distribute anyway, so you
have
to go. You have to go to Vermont.
I know. I'm like,
from the Alchemist.
So what's that take? Like one off your shelf?
You know, and like.
Well, speaking of New England IPAs, was it last week that I sent that to you? That Jason Alstrom, who is
oh god, here we go.
Wait, you're just gonna leave me now?
Yeah, I'm just out.
Just
on that.
let me do it. He's not a brewer. He owns. Is he All About Beer? Or which one is he? He's
the Alstrom brothers are
Great Beer or All About Beer. One of them.
They are Beer Advocate.
Beer Advocate. Mm-hmm. That's right. So he posted on Facebook that it was really cute that the West Coast brewers were trying to make New England IPAs. And I just thought, this is coming from a man who knows a lot about the industry, like a ton. I mean, he's made a life of it. He follows it and judges it and watches it. Like, he's not brewing. I'm sure he does some sort of brewing in his own time or whatever. But for him to say that when East Coast breweries have been making West Coast style beers, where most hops come from the West Coast, it just threw me for a loop. Like, I don't understand where he came off saying that, and it stirred up a whole bunch of shit. I mean, I could not, like, the comments were a lot of what I was saying, or like, why can't anybody just brew anything? Like, the East Coast has been doing it for years, and I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, I mean, you guys don't care if West Coast, like, Green Flash were to brew you could care less, right? And a lot of these breweries are on the West and East Coast now. Like, there are breweries that have these, there is no more of that. Like, especially when you look at a bottle of Sierra Nevada, it says Chico, California, and Asheville, North Carolina on it. There's no more, I mean, it always originates somewhere, but...
So, speaking of Sierra Nevada, man, you just brought us right into the next news thing.
Perfect. Yeah.
So why you probably shouldn't be drinking a Sierra Nevada bottle if you're on the East Coast? I know, because we've actually been. I've been like really strong on Sierra this year because I think that I was out in Chico for a while, and I got hooked on Ocho Vase. Like, I could drink like probably 10 gallons of it and be like completely fine for some reason. Piss warm too. Like, I'm talking working outside all day.
Ghostas are awesome.
But to hear this bums me out because they're doing a recall. How big's a recall?
Ocho Vase is on here.
Yeah, I know.
So 1 in every 10,000 glass bottles packaged between December 5th and January 13th were affected. So it's like there's going to be like this very small amount, but they can't take the risk of doing it. So I guess basically a very limited number of bottles with a flaw that may cause a small piece of glass to break off and possibly fall into the bottle, creating a risk for injury.
Whatever that means.
That glass company is in trouble.
Yeah, no shit.
They're going to need to, I don't know who they use, and I mean, whatever, and I'm sure.
But what a bummer! I mean, can you imagine doing that volume and having to throw it? Because not only like you're not losing just the customer, like you're losing all that beer. That's a lot of beer.
Yeah, it says they don't know how they have not yet determined the total cost of the recall or how much beer was affected. But the brands are the Pale Ale 12-ounce bottle, Beer Camp Golden IPA, Sidecar Orange Pale Ale Torpedo Extra IPA, Tropical Torpedo, Nooner, Hop Hunter, and Ocho Vase.
So bummed.
So you need to take a break.
Yeah, taking a break before I catch some glass.
Find them on draft, I guess.
Yeah,
they're 100%. Working around the clock to replenish the affected markets with safe products.
Yeah.
So,
did they change suppliers? Have they announced that?
I don't know. They didn't say.
I would guarantee almost.
They're actually, consumers who purchase beer within the recall are encouraged to dispose of the beer and file a claim for full refund. So that's really we
That's pretty sweet. So, and we hear it, I say cross the fingers, slam the 6-pack, and get your free one. Because you got a 1 in 10,000 chance. Just kidding. Don't listen to me. But you guys can send them to me, and then I'll take the chance.
Yeah, so that sucks for them, but at least they're handling it well.
Heck yeah. So anyways, let's shoot into another beer that you guys got over here. We got a bunch left.
Well, At any given time, we have 20 faucets in our tasting room. So
Perfect. How many are
keep
full
a very
right now?
wide selection on. And at any given time, we always keep between 14 and 18 brands on at a time.
Awesome.
So it was kind of hard today trying to pick and choose some things to bring, So
well, I've seen the size of your flights.
The mega
there's
flight.
one that's like this big, and then there's one I saw this dude. He's all carrying it like this, like arching his back, and I'm like,
I'm not sure if I can carry this. But so I was also wondering how difficult. I'm sure you guys run into this all the time. People write their own beers down for you and hand over their flight paper. Like, have you ever had trouble deciphering what people are writing down? Because sometimes we have people order stuff that they're like, we'll have that one, like, ale, the one with the, and we're like, what is it called? What is it called? Read it. It's on the wall. Say the name of the beer. It's like saying, I'll take the sedan, and there's like a Toyota and a sedan, or just like whatever, like a Toyota and a Chevy and a Ford sitting there, and they're like,
well, we hope we get everybody's orders correct.
I'm sure you do. I was very careful to write down like the full name of the beer.
We get that a lot, but our staff's pretty good about. They can definitely read them
Deciphering
and being
everything.
like, just not being a dick to the person when they easily could be like, "What do you mean?"
yeah.
Just tell me what you want.
Heck yeah. So what
Can I
is
get
this
the
we're
gingerbread
getting into?
lager? And you're like, you just described 2 different beers.
So we're
they just
moving
wing it,
in.
go for it.
This is the juicy tangerine white. So basically,
This is one of my favorites.
Yeah. So this is basically when we first started out. Our kind of goal was to do a lot of split batching and essentially kind of make a mother mash and then do downstream diversification of the product. And basically, in a nutshell, what happened is we made our classic Belgian white. And we took a portion of that wort, the unfermented beer, in a separate boiling process and kettle soured it, allowing it overnight to become sour by adding lactobacillus to it. So anyways, then it's a kettle sour, and then we boil it with the same traditional herbs and spices that you would use in a Belgian white, and then send it out for fermentation, and it's finished with tangerine juice.
So this one, I had this the first time at one of the first places I met you. I think it was right as you were starting to work at Vanish, because it was...
At one of the festivals or at the brewery?
It was at the festival. It was a Great American Beer one.
Oh, Americana, when you came out and spoke?
Americana, yeah, that I spoke at. And that was actually the first time I had this. I don't know. It might have been on before that, but
That's awesome.
I remember it was hot, and I was in a long sleeve.
You were in jeans and everything.
Yeah, and jeans. I'm all dressed up. I showed up all dressed up, and I was like, "Fuck, it's a festival, babe." She had dressed me to go speak somewhere, and I was like, "Oh shit, I could have showed up in Birkenstocks." I don't have Birkenstocks. Anyways,
except I don't own those.
Except I don't own those. But I had one, and man, it was perfect for that. Perfect for that day. It was
we have one person in the
freaking
audience
amazing.
Tonight.
All right,
it's Grubby.
Grubby's here keeping it.
I can't. There we
So I
go.
don't have to dress like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you coming to speak to us? We'll be your audience.
But it was super good. It was a hot day. It was, for some reason, I love a good kind of tangy sour on a hot day.
Really awesome.
That's why I like Otervest warm. You can drink them warm. For me, I love it. Some people are like, "Oh man, session, it's the way to go." I'm like, I kind of like a sour for some weird reason. It kind of opens me up. I'm like,
this is totally our summer porch beer.
Yeah.
We have a lot of outdoor patio space. I mean, we're a 53-acre farm to begin with a gigantic tasting room indoors.
That's
and
so
then,
huge. It used to be like a horse arena, correct?
yeah, well, it's
I mean,
8,000 square
ginormous.
feet.
Yeah.
We
have amazing food.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, amazing.
Barbecue pit,
Amazing.
and soon, actually, we're opening up to a full kitchen with wood-burning pizza. So.
Sweet.
God.
So yeah, I remember
More and more.
one of the first times I got to visit there was with the owner of the farm, Jonathan, and we went there, and it was this just shell riding arena, dirt floor, everything. He's like, "This is gonna be it," and I was like, "All right." And then, literally a year later, 1 year later, me and him are sitting there drinking a beer. It was really cool. It's such a transformation. If you guys go out there and visit them, make sure you ask them like a little bit about the story. Try and let them fill you in on how much work has been done there, because it's freaking insane. It's such a cool project they have going on there, and it's rad to see that escalation kind of through, and to be able to drink good beer at it. Shit, it's way better.
We owe a lot of dedication to a lot of people and a lot of long hours putting the thing together, getting it to where it is now. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that you guys have live music and it's family friendly and everybody has their dogs.
Yeah, they got massive Legos.
I can literally stay here all weekend. I'll just stay here.
Like I said, awesome. In a simple nutshell, it's about an inviting atmosphere and good beer.
Yeah,
that's what it boils down to. So,
hell yeah,
something for everyone.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I had the same experience as you. Like, it was actually a year ago, January. I went out there. I was like this close to accepting a job with a big distributor, and I went out there and I was talking to Jonathan. We met him, talked for 2 hours, and there's nothing out there. And for 2 hours, he just told me all the stuff he wanted to do, and you're just looking at everything. You're like, let's do it.
Yeah,
it's
okay. Sounds
good. All there, and we got more ideas coming, and it's so much fun.
Yeah,
I always tell people though, it's like when you have a puppy, and you see it every day, and you don't see it grow, and someone comes back months later, and they're like, "Holy fuck, your dog's huge!"
Yeah, you did a lot right there. That is amazing.
The first time I went to the farm was for a Virginia brewing event of some sort. It was the mayor or somebody was talking, but Matt Brophy was speaking there. I got there late. You and Lee had Hawk running around, and it had nothing to do with Vanish yet that I knew of.
Yeah. And
we were just literally in this barn, and it's like everybody I know from the brewing industry is there, like, and excited about beer in Virginia. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Where am I? I just drove by like 10 longhorns, like longhorn cattle. Like, you don't see that in Maryland very often. Yeah. I'm like driving down the driveway, like, where am I?
When you drive in and you're driving up this long gravel driveway, and the first thing you come across is this rundown stone house that looks like it's out of the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
How many people stop there with their first date?
No, well, the best.
First date, we're here.
You said, why isn't this working? Google, where have you put me?
But then you pass two houses, like actual houses, and we had so many people come in. We're like, we're about to turn around.
Yeah. It's like beautiful, like the huge trees, like everything's beautiful. It's just like, okay, there it is.
There was a good rumor going around Loudoun County when we were actually doing the build out on the hop field that it was an ISIS training camp facility because it was just fucking. If you guys have ever seen the hop infrastructure that we do, it's like all steel poles. It looks like way different than the traditional
5 acres.
Yeah, it's 5 acres. It's really big. It's right next to the freeway. Like every day, I'm like working up on the tractor basket, and like there's just a fucking traffic jam right there. And I know it's like because of us. Like there's no other reason for everyone to be stopped because I see them going fast this way and fast the other.
I stopped on the side of 15. This is funny.
Did you?
Where it is. And whoever was out there working asked what y'all were putting up.
Yeah.
What the hell are
you guys doing over there?
What are they building in there?
It was It was rad. So it's been such a cool place, because it's right on 15 and such a cool experience for everybody.
Anybody said the word Luckett's?
Yeah, it's in
Luckett's. We're about to. Yeah. We're about to because you got to finish your glass here. Yeah. This is actually this next beer we're pouring is our Luckett's Calling.
Nice.
Little homage to the Clash there. So anyways, it is currently known as Citra Wheat. But basically it's a wheat IPA that we were challenged with the task of creating essentially a 0 IBU beer.
Oh.
Pardon me.
You didn't want to say that.
Yeah.
No.
I can't say 0 IBUs.
You should
it was incredibly challenging. It was a fantastic thing. Sorry. Anyways. the point is that basically the goal was to get as much hop flavor out of this as we could with no bitterness. So this uses entirely all late addition hops. There's a lot of like sciencey, geeky shit that goes in.
Did you use any other bittering agents that weren't hops?
No.
Nice. It smells super earthy.
Pardon me. I don't know where that came from. Anyways, so the focus is on Citra hops. There's also a little bit of Equinox in there. Citra Equinox is one of my favorite combos. But it's a soft wheat mouthfeel.
It really is.
There's no bitter finish to it. You know what I mean?
No, there's not.
You get some perceived bitterness because you're going to have, anytime you have hops, you're going to have some bitterness. It's just, nature of the beast. But it was a very scientifically like a very challenging project, and it was a lot of fun. But we're really thrilled at how it came out.
So who put you up to this?
Our founder. Our founder put this up to because we're very inspired by a lot of folks that are really doing some groundbreaking stuff out there.
Right.
The Veil, for instance, has a 0 IBU IPA.
Yeah,
and we're like, well, let's let mimicry be the highest form of flattery, so to speak.
Right.
And not knowing exactly what they do, we took our own stab at it.
Cool.
That's not what happened at all. What happened was we sat there and we're like, listen, we want an IPA that has 0 IBUs because you can just crush a shit out of it, and everyone loves it because you can just drink it all day. And Larry's sitting there like, you motherfucker.
You can't breathe. I don't want to.
Like, I hate this idea already.
We're like, come on, everyone will drink it. Everyone will love it. And I will. It's the one beer I'll always remember the day he comes over, like, pouring it uncarbed, warm from the tank, and just, like, sits it down. And he goes, there you go. And I take a sip, and I'm like, oh, this is dangerous. It's not bitter. You can just chug it. It almost
it is. It is.
It
is totally. And I surprised myself on this one. So
it's one of our top sellers.
Yeah, it's but luck it's calling because I do think that people will come.
It's super rad. It's super sessionable for sure. I mean, it is.
Were you around for International Arms Race when we did that?
I had already moved on to barley and hops, but I definitely came by and tasted. If I'm not mistaken, I tasted several of the pilots because I keep very close contacts and friends there. So
of course, and we tried to do this, and so did Brewdog, and that was the International Arms Race. Yeah. And
we got fucking hammered downtown Baltimore that night.
This is better than both of them. I would have voted for this one.
Do you want some more?
But this actually uses hops, though. You see, I mean, this is.
It was the same idea, though, like the 0 IBU. But maybe that was the difference because they were trying to use. They actually used heather and like some other bittering agents that, to give it a better taste, even though it didn't have IBUs. And I felt like both. I was like, I just never want to drink this again. And it wasn't a beer for sale. Like we weren't trying to make. It was an actual just. Competition between us and Brewdog to have fun, and I understand that, but I'm just like,
and you got to have those
why
fun,
do people want to
make
moments. Beer without hops? Like, I don't understand what we're doing, but that was delicious.
Well, that's the thing.
This was a way to use the hops to have no bitterness. You know what I mean? Therein lies a little bit of a challenge as well. But
you're not going to share your scientific secrets.
I don't want to bore people with it. We got plenty of beers to drink. We have plenty of good conversation.
So speaking of hops, Rebel IPA,
dude, completely redone.
So
how
Sam
weird
Adams
is
makes
this? Okay, this is something.
It's the spray paint handle, like the spray paint bottle handle that you see in the bars. I'm sure
that looks
everybody's
completely rad.
Familiar with it. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it looks sick. I like their bottling.
So what happened with it this week, though?
Well, they completely redid it. I for one am not a fan of the new labels for the can. Well, the can's what? The Smash, you said? Didn't you say the can was like the Smash IPA? And then the bottle is like the Rebel.
Oh, no, it's juiced or something.
Juiced.
Okay, yeah. From the news article that I had read, there was something regarding basically they were going to have 2 versions of it. So there's the Rebel reboot and then the juiced version.
So Sam Adams went with one of their flagships. One of their flagships. It is like the bestseller.
Sam Adams.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's like, they have Boston Lager.
No, I'm saying
they have the beer that made the East Coast brewing
flagship,
scene.
IPAs.
It is their IPA.
Yeah, I mean, it is theirs. And they redid it, which I have not got to try it yet, which I'm pumped on trying it. It's new hops. They're using Mosaic, Simcoe, and then there's 2 HBC. I should text Dylan and ask him what they are because he would know.
HBC is Hop Breeding Company, and when they still have
Dylan, text me
HBC and a number, they're not actual.
Oh, here it is. HBC 566, HBC 682, Mosaic, Cascade, Simcoe, Centennial, Chinook. So they're going back over this already really popular IPA and blasting it with some new flavors. And it was Project Lupulus. And it was crazy to me just to think that this very IPA-leading brand just said, screw it, we're going to do whatever. And I don't know, maybe it's not that over. But, I mean, if you look, 4 of those varieties are brand new.
Well, HBC
and they're like,
they're not
it
even
is
real
not
hops
a hop
yet.
punch.
I mean, they're like real hops, but they don't even have a name.
Yeah,
they're infants.
I mean,
they're like.
So if anybody listening doesn't
boring.
know why they're called HBC, they're still a variety hop. So that means they have not stood the test of time
HBC is
yet.
the hop breeding company. So
Yes.
they're having mommy hops and daddy hops make baby hops, and they're testing out what these baby hops will.
And it takes a
impart
very long time to get a hop named. I mean, how many varietals do you work with? I mean, they have.
I mean, we have in
varietals
stock at any given time probably 20 varieties.
Exactly.
And there's always more and more coming out of the market. There's all these numbers, and basically it's almost like the pharmaceutical companies and their research laboratories,
right?
Except that you don't get the funny infomercials for the side effects.
We're making one.
This one will not give you a third leg.
Oh. Well, that's good. At least it won't give you a third leg, other than the one I already lean on.
Or a fourth, whatever.
This is the good time of the show when everyone's like, oh shit, there was those last 10 beers that just hit me.
I want to tell you about my theory on Rebel.
Okay, tell me your theory on Rebel.
It probably came out maybe 5 years ago, max, because I remember when it came out, New Belgium was actually new in Maryland. And there was a huge
They're
launch.
50 states now.
They are. So in 2013, Kim Jordan said that by 2018 they would be in all 50 states. They're going to round that out in 2017, a year early. I just read that this week, and that's pretty amazing. Gnarly. Yeah, I mean...
She's a beast.
Yeah, so she started as a social worker.
Some big shoes
she divorced
to fill,
her husband, kicked him out of the brewery. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. She's been doing a great job. But so Rebel came out, and they put this giant push behind it, and for like a year it was awesome. Like their numbers, but it's no secret that Sam Adams overall is down.
Right.
And they've also been trying a lot of things. They have Twisted Tea. They have all these things that maybe aren't doing so well. I don't know. I'd have to really dive into the numbers. But 5 years later, there's no way that Rebel's doing what it did the first year. And they're like, how can we get those numbers again? They're like, we're going to have to redo the whole thing.
True.
So,
but then they're doing like
what they're doing.
all the nitros.
They're doing everything.
And they just came out. This is one that my wife brought to my attention. Yeah. My wife is pumped. And I put a sweet meme out about being happy about finding a wife that loves craft beer.
Yes.
That's brownie points, babe. Just
Lee, I brought you a whole case of horchata.
But they're doing a fucking red velvet, and she was pumped on that. She loves red velvet cake. But I mean, that's like kind of the stage they're in.
They're doing everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're pioneers. Just let them do whatever they want.
Yeah, they're sick.
Jim Cook's still around. It's not like they sold out.
Yeah, no, they did.
Not really.
Not really.
They're just trying. They're in their experimental College age.
I still love the fact that we have both Sam Adams and Sierra Nevada in the news right now.
Yeah.
So
because, I mean, to me, and I've been teaching this for many years, whenever I do any kind of service training and whatnot, I'm always talking about, like, you know, back in the day, basically, you had the Biggie and the Tupac. You had the East Coast and West Coast godfathers of the brewing industry, and it essentially, came about from Jim Cook and from Ken Grossman.
Well, I mean, and that's such the cool thing to look back on, because I mean, I always tell stories all the time about being a little shithead at like 13 and going to hippie festivals, and like, it was like Sierra Nevada or Sam Adams, or like maybe if you were lucky and like out west it was Flying Dog or had something else like that, and there's only a couple. Like, it was not by any means a selection.
Yeah.
And so now we are fucking spoiled. Like, I think millennials don't know their shit. Like, try going back to the Stone Age and having 4 beers to choose from.
Speaking of millennials, so
stop bitching. What?
Speaking of snowflakes, no, I'm kidding. And our godfathers of brewing, Steve Hindy, came out this week and said that Brooklyn is going to stay in Williamsburg, which is really like in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They were looking for another place to go.
They were going
I guess,
across
for
the river.
Yeah, for more space, and then it's like, how do you take
I was bummed.
Brooklyn out of Brooklyn? Like, is that going to be a thing?
Me and a couple buddies went up to New York a couple years ago, and we were waiting in line to go on the Brooklyn tour, and ended up getting pissed because the line was real long, and there's a sweet little underground bar right next to it that has all their beers on tap, and we went down there and drank all their beers and got fucking blackout wasted, and I woke up on a beach, and it was sweet. But that was like my one time out there. It was rad.
Just yada yada yada.
Yeah, I did.
Yada yada yada.
Real quick, yada yada yada. Woke up on a beach. It was sweet. Sick. So anything else? I mean,
well, similar thing just happened with Port City. I'm Alexandria born and raised, and they were looking to expand, and it's hard to expand in Alexandria. It's expensive and it's pretty small. They were looking at Fairfax County, Loudoun, and they finally came out and said they're staying in Alexandria, and it was like huge news. It was great for us.
Yeah.
Us meeting where I'm from. It's great to have them stay, but it's also great for Virginia because now they can make even more optimal wit, which takes all Virginia-grown wheat.
Right.
So it's just great for the state. Like, it's fantastic.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. Larry, what did you just pour? And
well,
this
is what we were talking about earlier with the recipe from Bill.
Mets,
thank you. Mr. Mets. Not the big baseball bobblehead guy, but Mr.
The other Mets.
Anyways, Bill and I spent, like I said, probably a 20-hour day creating and brewing this beer. So we were thrilled at how it came about. We did a limited run of 750 milliliter screen printed bottles and sold out in 24 hours. So we decided to do another one, and that one sold out the following weekend in 24 hours.
Awesome.
And so we did that. I'm like,
let's
did
keep
that
going.
4 weekends in a row.
Like,
so
next thing you know,
we were doing 2 per person. It wasn't like come and grab them all. It was still rolling.
Nice, cool.
So
That's cool.
We lucked out and had a fantastic man to work with, a fantastic recipe, and Bill, I know you're out there. My offer still stands. Come on back, and we'll make more. Not just of this, but we'll do other things as well.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah, we found
delicious.
a great family friend, so to speak, because of a homebrew competition, and I think that's something I've done many years in working with home brewers and working with the community to essentially community source and kind of get people involved. And I have so many wonderful friends that have come about because of just brewing and like sharing recipes.
Well,
that's having fun.
That
with
is
it,
literally
you know what I mean?
that is literally why we have this show.
Yeah,
is literally why, because we can
Bill
tie this shit
together.
together.
When we were all running our mouths, and he said, "No hops is gruit." That is a type of non-hop beer. And he said, "Why do they change hop names? Idaho 7 is now called 007 Golden Hop. What the hell?" Do you hop guys want to?
Well, I mean.
I think anytime you come up with a good marketing term, you just go, "Hey,
I mean, 007." Sounds a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, Eureka. Eureka was HBC 2057 or whatever the heck it was.
What sounds better?
But and then all of a sudden you just go,
I'd rather use a
Eureka!
big old batch of fucking Eureka right there.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's just fitting. Sometimes it just hits. So
super good stuff. But man, this is a very
this
such
beer
a put you on your ass beer, but such a good I could walk in at 9:00 and drink this.
Yeah,
I really could.
I can't say enough about these Sagamore barrels. They're awesome.
Yeah,
he does so much stuff with barrels, and these are.
So how many barrels do you guys have? So whenever I walk
we're
in,
still pretty small.
Every time I see more. Yeah, but I mean, you guys have a cool amount of barrels in and able to see and kind of on rotation on that. I mean, a lot more than compared to if you go to another little brewery and you're just like. Oh, hey. So, how many do you guys, or how many do you try and keep in barrel? If we could put it that way.
Well, there's not necessarily a set number as far as batches, barrelage, etc. All I can say is that the sheer size, the 8,000 square feet of the tasting room and the building itself lends to a fair amount of storage space. And we put them on. We store them. We put it right there in the tasting room. Sharing with people, and people can walk up and read. Oh, this has got blah blah blah. Put in at this date.
The kids can climb on them.
We got lots of that, huh?
But anyways, we love working with barrels and with wood. It's something I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and I'm actually thrilled to be able to do such. And the Sagamore rye whiskey barrels make a fantastic beer. They really accentuate a lot of chocolate notes. We have another one coming out next week, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
That is also done in some Sagamore, but also in a lot of Catoctin Creek barrels.
Oh, nice.
Catoctin Creek Distillery is a rye whiskey and several other
they're right down by
whiskey. Yeah, they're in Percival.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Loudon
Okay,
County.
wait.
So
I got
Copper
two mixed
Fox.
up there. That's Copper Fox.
We have that. It's an Imperial Brown, and that is put out as a collaboration with me and some guys that are opening up very soon in Frederick, Rockwell Brewery. They'll be on Northeast Street, 880 something.
If you know where Pit Crew is, you can't miss
the
them.
next door to Pit Crew. You got Pit Crew, you got Quartermaster, you got Family Meal, and then there's going to be a new Frederick Brewery right there.
Cool.
Awesome. So the guys at Rockwell Brewery, we hooked up some time ago, and we said start kicking around, and so we came up with a collaboration, and that went into Catoctin Creek barrels with a little bit of Sagamore barrels, kind of in there for the mix,
throwing
for
it
a little
around.
blend, and that is going to be basically an 11.7, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically Imperial Brown Ale. That we'll be releasing in these barrels, in these bottles next week. So you can come down and see us, and then of course, Rockwell will have it on draft when they open. They're actually
so if you're
slated
in Frederick,
to
go taste it at Rockwell. You can't get all the way down to Buckets.
They will be opening in February, roughly around the 15th.
Sweet.
So somewhere around there.
We'll check them out. Shit.
We had to taste test all those barrels at 10 in the morning. 15 different barrels.
Nice.
It was like, You're like, just wait.
Shit hammered.
A little bit at a time, you know. So,
Catches up to you.
Yeah. So, thrilled. We love barrel aging. We've got a lot of different stuff going on in barrels, especially a lot of collaborations. One of my favorite things, though, being in Loudoun County and being known as a wine region, one of my favorite things is working with and trying to. I've always been a big proponent of using local ingredients.
Right.
Being a hop farm.
Yep.
And for many years working in Maryland, working with Maryland hop growers, helping Tom Bars at Milk House get his doors open several years ago. I love and I'm a big proponent of local agriculture.
Awesome.
So being in Loudoun County now, I'm a big fan of beer wine hybrids and
Me too. There are some
beers.
Oh man.
So
we could go into that.
Are you okay, Solomon?
Yeah, I know. I'm
Do
like,
you need to leave?
I just about had to walk outside there. I was like, "Oh, daddy." No, I agree.
All the alcohol,
and I mean,
yes.
and that's where a lot of people don't understand too is that you can go, and all of a sudden you have a whole new fucking genre. You can go to wine barrels. And then people are like, wait a minute, wine barrels? I thought you only did beer in whiskey barrels. And you're like, dude, you have no clue. Because you can go down to Doug Fabioli's farm, and he has got a massive warehouse of wine barrels. And he will tell you right now that he orders them by the truckload. Mm-hmm. And he knows what he's looking for. This guy has been making
half
wine.
his truckload.
Exactly. And so, I mean, that is, those types of collaborations and things like that are still so new, but so fucking precious to our market, dude. So precious.
Doug is fantastic.
He is,
and he's just one of the many folks around there that make everything possible.
Yeah.
But yeah. I actually have here our 1-year anniversary ale. It's an old ale that I brewed last year.
Do you feel like that was a fast first year?
Dear God, yes.
I feel like it was fast, and I don't even work there.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you guys just opened.
So this is our 1-year anniversary ale. It's an old ale. Thank you. Of 10% that. Basically, an old ale is an old English style. Kind of think about basically an imperial brown or large brown or red ale. And basically, it was aged in Bro Vineyard barrels with Brettanomyces, a wild yeast strain.
Come to mama.
And this is in Malbec and Merlot barrels from Bro Vineyards in Percival, the second largest Virginia winery.
I have to tell you, this is the first time I've had a beer that was aged in wine barrels.
Oh, really?
I've had a lot of different liquors, never wine, but never
and
wine.
Then on top of a year in wine barrels. Then as it came out,
I'm spoiled.
Of the wine barrels and blended into a tank. It was then put on grape must, which is the juice and skins and seeds of wine grapes. So this uses the Cabernet Franc, which is kind of like the Virginia signature grape varietal. From Doug Fabioli.
It smells like wine.
Fabioli Wine Cellars.
You should have tried it when it was room temperature
very
flat.
oaky. This is one of those I've intentionally left it out for several hours to kind of warm up a little bit. But if you let it open up and breathe a little bit, it becomes very viniferous.
Yeah, you just want to cup it and just warm it right up.
It is definitely beer, but it is definitely wine.
Yeah.
Huh. It's different.
Yeah, that marriage is sweet. That's what I like. I like that. I'm sorry. I'm
Solomon
just
is so excited about this.
I am. Well, because I'm such a sour guy. And not relating this to sours, but I like the transformation of fruit and beer when it is not fucking a grapefruit Sculpin that tastes like grapefruit juice with like Alka-Seltzer in it.
Yeah.
The
You
layers
know what
of
I mean?
flavor.
Like I like to be able to find it and kind of like search for it in my taste buds and say, oh, there it is. Look for it a little bit and
I have to defend Sculpin here for a second.
well,
the original
your girl.
Sculpin's so good. And
No,
They just did every flavor, and I think it got lost somewhere.
No, yeah, it definitely got.
I mean, it didn't get lost. They're still selling a shit ton
No,
of
yeah,
beer.
they're definitely
they're,
still
like,
good.
they're not crying in the corner anymore.
No, not at all. But I just love that marriage and that kind of like finding it, because I think a lot of man, there's too many beers now where it's like you take a sip of it and it's like, all right, there it was, and then there's a very select few beers now where you sip it, and you sip it again, you sip it a third time, fourth time, and then finally you're just like, oh, there it is. That's what they were going for. There, so much going on in it. And that is definitely one of those.
Solomon likes complex beers.
I do.
It has to have every taste.
A lot of complexity.
Heather likes hot
This
bombs.
one is complex.
Solomon likes
There's a lot
complex
going on
beers.
here. So.
Anytime you can taste something and you get something at first and it finishes something different, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
It goes with food too. Like we were just trying out different sauces with our chef. Shout out to Chef Dan. And there's one, and it was super sweet at first, and it finished it off like fire. And we were just like, holy shit, this is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it goes across the board. It's great.
Heck yeah.
And I urge people that say they don't like craft beer, keep drinking them, because I think a lot of people at first don't like it, and it evolves into something else. And obviously, there's a craft beer for everyone out there. Have you had all the craft beers? You don't like craft beers, but keep
I
trying
haven't come
them.
close.
Because when I first started drinking them, it was all IPAs. It was Wild Goose, if anybody remembers that.
Yeah.
And
I got a bunch of their tap handles.
like-
Oh yeah,
6
I
boxes.
got a bunch of their beers. You should not see my basement.
So in another life, I was married to a man who worked for Wild Goose before I even started working there. And he brought this home, and I'm young. I'm like 18 years old. And we're just dating at the time. We weren't married yet. And he's like, hey, you should try this. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, what are you doing? Don't work there. Like, literally, that was like my response to it. And now if I had a Wild Goose IPA, I'd probably be like, what is that? Like, it's not bitter. It's not anything. And it just takes time. And I know that Frederick is just booming now, and breweries are like Attaboy opened this week right on, it's like Sagner, and I forget where it's like
where
down
We're going there after the show.
Are you?
Hey,
Okay, so
everybody,
then-
meet us over at
Yeah,
Asbury.
meet us at that.
Yeah, sick.
Go
Let's
to Attaboy. So, and you were just talking about your friend's opening in the middle of February, and
At
we had
Rockwell.
Old Mother last week. I mean, we're talking about literally a 3-mile radius.
Yeah.
Like, if that. It's not even that. It's like little small Asheville going on right now. And I just
Absolutely.
hate that I still have people, and I've lived in Frederick my whole life in basically the same block. I'm not even kidding, the house that I own now, but I live a mile and a half from my mom.
Yeah,
Is that
I know.
sad?
No,
I
it's
think
good.
it's pretty awesome. So he asked you to keep the show going, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only reason I haven't shut this down.
What's up, dog?
Good to see you, brother.
Anyway, I'm just urging everyone in Frederick that has lived here forever and doesn't know anything about craft beer to keep trying it. Go to these local breweries. Go see your friends that are opening breweries, or your friends of friends, and try everything, because there is a beer out there that you're going to like. Solomon likes Haute Gervais, which to me, I would think that Solomon would like big hop bombs because he's a big hop farmer and really cares about that. He doesn't. I mean, there's beers.
No, I
that
do
girls-
care. I do care. Wait a second.
It's like, can you still live by my hops?
I'm like, whoa. I do care about the hot box.
You do.
No,
you do.
yeah,
but I'm
but-
saying there's something out there for everyone, and if you keep trying them, you will find something.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like the big hop bumps, and I think then eventually you will start going in that direction.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love those too.
It's like right now,
But,
Kolsch
I mean,
is like a
that's
gateway
like-
beer.
Cold.
People are
Like, no, it's not.
What's the lightest thing? And they try.
Like
they're like,
Larry,
this is
what I
really
always tell
good.
people is I'm always like, man, like I started out, I got into IPAs that are fucking awesome. Then I got like into all the different styles, and then all of a sudden I got into double IPAs, and then all of a sudden I got really fucking confused because everything tasted like a hot bomb, and then I found sours.
Yeah.
And then I was like, holy shit. And then I went from sours to like extreme barrel age to all these different things to where my palate now is like it can handle everything. It can handle everything, and I can tell you it's very good and tell you all this stuff. But every once in a while, on a soft palate, I'll taste something and be like, "Oh shit." You know what I mean? Like, damn, I haven't experienced
I have to tell
that.
you guys, Bill, who's still listening, said
Bill.
about her comment. I'm Heather. Hi, Bill. I'm Heather. About her comment, I didn't like IPAs when I started homebrewing. Now I love them.
Yeah.
Cool, Bill. Me too. My name's Heather. Nice to meet you.
This is the first time Heather has been able to give someone else shit on this show. So she's fucking.
Everybody gives me shit.
No,
I didn't even go to the women's march, and I made that comment. I didn't even go to the women's march.
It's good. It's good.
Anyway, I have to wrap up. Do you have more to talk about? Something?
Yeah.
You just want to keep going this week?
I mean, yeah. He was saying one more thing, and then we're gonna
go one more thing.
We're gonna tap out.
I was saying one more thing.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you did.
I have
You
no
were-
idea
you were-
where I was going.
Shit.
Quickly.
Quick thing.
Next big thing.
Well, anyways, take us out
Next
on
big
our last.
thing. That is potentially, yeah, sure, why not? All right.
Take us out, and then we'll go into their last big
Yep.
thing. And then
Eat wings and raise funds. Stop by your local Buffalo Wild Wings to schedule your fundraiser today. Only at your local B-Dubs in Rockville, Gaithersburg, Frederick, Columbia, and Urbana. Wings, beer, sports. You have to be here.
awesome. So you can raise money and eat some amazing food and drink some craft beer. 'Cause
That
they do have
sounds
a good-
fantastic. Sign me up.
They have a good selection. A very good selection.
Bill said, sorry, Heather. Her was easier to type. It's okay, Bill. I know you. I know you.
Let's slide
love that guy.
I had
Love
one
that guy.
chance to give someone else shit.
All right.
All right.
So anyways,
Okay, so another we were talking about collaborations and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I've had the really great fortunate time over many years of getting to know lots of folks and working with folks, and we have a lot of collaborations. Is what we do at Vanish. Is work, not just my own stuff. It's no ego trip, blah blah blah. It's about a community, and a community that extends beyond our local folks. I have really awesome collaborations going with folks from Black Narrows, Josh Chapman, who is going to be opening up Black Narrows out on Chicoteague Island.
Oh, really?
In an old oyster house. Josh used to be the head brewer at Blue Jacket in Washington, D.C., and he's opening his own brewery in an old oyster house in
So
Chicoteague
cool.
Island.
Wait,
And
are the
so we
horses
have
on Chincoteague or Assateague?
They're both.
Oh, they
there are
move
wild
once a
horses.
year. Yeah.
They're wild horses on both Chicoteague and Assateague.
That's right.
And so, anyways, so we've got something going with him. Wilds, all barrel ferment sour. Really interesting thing with Virginia grown malt, grown in Loudoun County.
That's awesome.
Malted by Pilot Malt in Michigan. And
there's Michigan.
They're
They're all thanks,
Bob's
bro.
in Michigan.
Yes, Michigan.
Sorry, that's where I was born and
Michigan.
raised. So, anyways, then on top of that, for the Craft Brewers Conference in Washington D.C. this year, I have a collaboration going on with a former brewmaster of mine, the guy who gave me my very first start in the brewing industry.
Cool.
In Colorado Springs. He now owns his own place called Trinity Brewing Company. And Trinity has really exploded in recent years. He's online. Jason Yester, he is Saison Man. If you're in social media,
Nice.
you can find him that way. He is a master of Saisons, wild ferments, and using local ingredients. So he's kind of my inspiration and good friend. And
Awesome.
so he flew out this past summer. We did a beer together. We are attempting to brew, or we have brewed what we hope to be a world record of sorts, the largest Saison in history.
Nice.
So it's an 18% saison.
That's what I like to hear.
Aged in,
stepping up the game.
Aged in barrels, sourced from Doug Fabioli of Fabioli Cellars. Awesome. So we'll be releasing that for CBC. It's good. It's got all the dry hops. It's got actually to get really nerdy, for those who don't understand, I apologize, but the fact of the matter is it's kettle soured saison brewed with kettle soured with a pediococcus. It's a
souring agent.
It's a souring agent, yeah, but it's not your normal thing, okay? Yes. So the fact of the matter is it's going to be big.
I'm excited.
And it's going to be a little bit tart. And it's going to be hugely dry hops. And it's going to be like, it's going to knock you on your ass.
It's the next big thing.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be the next big thing.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to drink this much of it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes. So.
Oh, don't worry.
Carry a barrel around on your shoulder.
Well, sick, guys. I can't tell you how much fun we've had here today, and to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you.
It means a lot
very much.
to connect with you guys from not just a work setting for once, and to have you guys in here. Super cool, everything you guys are doing down there, everything you guys are promoting as far as events. I know you guys got a Master Brewers Association meeting coming up that's there.
We do.
Speaking at that. And we have a lot of other cool events throughout the year for these guys over at Vanish. So if you are in the area or anything like that, these guys are right in Luckett's dead center of Leesburg and Frederick. Swing by and see how cool this spot is. See how amazing the location is, and take your family, man. There is
families are important to us.
Yeah, such a very cool dynamic there. So thank you guys, man. Once again,
no, we really appreciate this.
You
know, this is
fun.
Yeah, exactly. This is Friday at 5. This is like hanging out with old friends.
Yeah,
folks that I've known for many years. So I really appreciate it.
I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah,
Saturday.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you.